Yo, what is good, y'all? Happy Monday to you. This is Getting in the Green with Perfect Strangers. I am your host with the most, just Duro. And as always, I got my partner with me, that man right there, the green hoodie legend himself. He and I just rolling out of bed in this motherfucker. What's good with you, Corey?
Hey, it's that time of year.
Yeah,
It's good, man. It's going good, man. Good weekend of ball.
yeah,
Round two
yeah.
kicking off. So yeah, man. Everything's good, man.
Corey, I woke up mad as hell, bruh. I did, man. I did. You know, there's a in this gambling journey, man. You know, that's exactly how that game was yesterday. Terrible, terrible. Yeah, I can't call it. We'll get into it, man. But we did have two playoff games yesterday, man. Um, I think ball is in good hands in these second rounds. We'll see tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, man. Both games um semi-competitive. Obviously Milwaukee pulled away, but the over-unders kind of seem to be the spots to be hitting right now. They're
Mhm.
pretty self-explanatory. I hit the under nice in that Milwaukee game.
Yeah,
Hit
yeah,
the over in the Warriors game.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, with the way these games are just 50-50 toss-ups, um, you know, might just be the move here to take advantage of the over-unders. But I think we got some spots here today.
We do, man. We do. We got some spots, bro. We got some spots. I'm not gonna rush to the window. I kind of did, but didn't yesterday. Made a few bets, not just my parlay, but made a few bets, man. But before we get into today's games, about last night. Sam, good morning to you, brother. Good morning. As always, we appreciate you for tuning in. First game on the slate, early morning game, right? If you want to call, well, for us it was on a Saturday, you know. Yeah, Milwaukee at Boston. So Boston swept the Nets. And you and I were talking about this game on Friday, right? We just kind of touched on it. And something that I had realized was, Boston got beat on the boards by the Nets, even though they swept them, right? Boston got beat on the boards. And that was something that really stuck out to me. And I said, hey, even though it's a small measure of weight, or a smaller measure of weight when you're dealing with the four factors of basketball, that's kind of, that's something to look at. And I thought that the game would be closer. And I took Milwaukee. Milwaukee goes in there, torches the shit out of Boston, 101 to 89. I also put a small play on the under and took Milwaukee at the last minute. And they just had their way with Boston. Boston absolutely had nothing they can do with Giannis. Now it's funny about this game, Corey, because there's some NBA talking heads that I really, really listen to and kind of pay attention and follow, and what they're saying. And the X factor in that game, man, really was Bobby Portis, man. What'd you think about that game?
Yeah, Portis played great. Drew Holiday shot well for the first time in the playoffs, really.
Right. Right.
They were hot. They were hot early. It is going to be a factor, though. You could tell, like, Boston got shocked. Like, oh, man, the other team's playing defense. Like,
Mhm.
oh, we got to think about this now, It just goes to show how bad the Nets are.
Yeah, man. I tweeted that, Corey.
And it's just like, yeah, all these analysts and everybody that said they were going to make a championship run,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they had the second worst defense in the NBA since the trade. It showed. Boston looked shocked, didn't really know what to do offensively now that they're switching on screens, and putting bodies in front of them. We'll see. We'll see how Marcus Smart's shoulder holds up. Got a stinger. Milwaukee's the defending champs, and they just keep getting written off.
Yeah.
By everybody.
Yeah.
You're looking how banged up Miami Philly is, man. They're probably the favorite to go to the finals right now in the East.
Absolutely.
So
I think things changed after yesterday, but Boston was coming in around 2 after that.
Yeah.
Before game 1,
You got to figure out, just to me, like I think the winner of that series will probably end up in the finals, whoever it may be. But right now it's looking like as long as Milwaukee can keep up that defense, they're going to give Boston a hard time, man.
Yeah. Reading what a couple of heads are talking about, one guy that I follow really talked about how Milwaukee situated their defense with these peel-offs, going over and under on these screens, that they were really daring Al Horford to shoot. So something that I'm looking at early right now is I want to see where his points are, because I think what Ime Udoka is going to do is get him involved more, but they were daring him to shoot and he just was not making shots. And I think Al Horford has a better game next game. Just something that I'm looking into, just a little bit of the reading that I'm doing. And yeah, just to your point, man, the Nets are so bad that was Kevin Durant's worst playoff showing ever in his career. I want to say he was like a -7. I was looking at a Jimmy High Roller YouTube video yesterday, and it was talking about how that was just his worst. It was like, yo, it was so bad. Did this man like bet for himself to lose so he can make a couple M's? It's just that bad, man. But yeah, it's funny to see that when you take away how bad Boston played at home with the rest advantage, right, against Milwaukee, it just goes to show you was it really more of Boston being a great team or Brooklyn Nets just being a very bad team? And Brooklyn Nets being a bad team. All right, man. Next game, which is the game I'm mad about because I made my first parlay this year. Right. So the parlay I took was Milwaukee Bucks, which they won that game wire to wire. I took the under on that game also. And then I took the Golden State Warriors at -2.5 and made those 3 single bets. And then my parlay that I made for the day was Golden State to win by 2.5 points and Milwaukee Bucks. And as we all know, you had a terrible foul flagrant 2 call by Draymond Green. What'd you think about that flagrant 2, man?
That's weak, man. If it wasn't Draymond Green, they wouldn't have called it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the NBA's gotta be better, man. They gotta be better, man. You can't do that in the playoffs.
Bruh.
Draymond, DeMarcus Cousins, there's just a handful of these guys that just anything even remotely that looks bad, they're getting thrown out of games. Like, I was shocked that they took it to the fucking monitor. What are you looking at?
Yeah.
The guy reached over, kind of grabbed his jersey and pulled him, and then also stayed with him, didn't toss him to the ground and let go.
Right.
I don't know, man. It was pretty soft. It's, like I said, if it wasn't Draymond, it would have been a common foul.
Clark kind of played into it by staying on the ground. I think it was a scrape in the face, that really did it. He did kind of, but it was one of those things to where Draymond just has a history of being a kind of sneaky, dirty player. So you're right. Anybody else but him. He even went on his own podcast and said that, anybody else but him, it's because of his reputation. I mean, I totally get it. And
refs did everything they could get.
Yeah,
the refs were very heavy for Memphis.
Very, very heavy.
They were heavy Memphis in the first round too. They clearly want to pump up this Morant hype train at this point.
Yeah.
Try to get him going. But, the problem for Memphis is, though, you're not going to play a team that's going to blow double-digit leads anymore, man.
Yeah.
Golden State plays smart ball. Yeah, I mean, Memphis is probably in trouble here in this series.
They are. Like you poke the bear. You're not supposed to do that. Tim, I can't think of his last name. Kami, I can't think of his last name for the Athletic. Tweeted out that privately the Warriors are mad as hell. The Warriors are mad as hell about those calls, about the Steph call, about the Dre call, obviously, but they're still happy that they got the W. What I'm mad about, really, man, is Klay Thompson missing those damn 2 free throws.
Yeah.
That's all he needed to do was make them damn free throws, man.
And
Now
the
the
refs
game,
blew that call too, though, because the ball's out of bounds on Memphis there on the rebound.
right,
And then they make
right.
them jump it up.
Yeah, you make them jump it up. So that was another bad call. You're right about that. But I'm looking at this game, man. 1 point, Klay makes those 2 free throws. You got a couple of seconds to get down to the court and shoot up a Hail Mary 3. And if it goes in, then you go into overtime, right? But the likelihood, you were going to probably get double on Bane. You weren't thinking Ja will probably get the last shot, but if he's taking a 3, yeah, even though he made his first 2 threes of the game, he's not the 3-point shooter, right? So I was mad that didn't cover. Probably should have played the Warriors money line game. But me personally, man, I'm not a big juice guy. So it's one of those things to where I was so mad at how the officiating was in that game, but then just super duper mad, bro, that Klay didn't make those 2 free throws. I mean, how do you miss those 2 free throws, man? So that was the game, man. But they did come out with the W, 117 to 116. That went over by 11 points, right? That went over. It was 223. It went over by 10 points, or 9.5 rather. So if you took the over on that game, you were good. And tonight's games, man. We're kind of in the same boat with tonight. First game on the slate, man. Philly at Miami. And I haven't gotten to the window on this. The line right now is 7.5. It opened up. This line opened up, man, at -4.5. Got as high as 8. Right? Philly at Miami. Total in this game is 209, opened up at 208. And of course, you got the line jump because you don't have Embiid. But I don't know if this is the association, man, just kind of picking at you also. I don't know. I have no idea. I wouldn't knock you for that, Sam. I would not knock you for that at all on this game. At all. This one here, it for what it's worth, man. Something is suspicious about this game. It's completely sus, bro. So Embiid is out indefinitely. I'm thinking he's going to come back earlier than what people are anticipating. Same thing with D-Book, right? Same thing possibly with Chris Middleton. But on the Heat side, Jimmy Butler, questionable. Strus, questionable. Tyler Hero, questionable. PJ Tucker, questionable. Martin, questionable. Markieff Morris, questionable. And Kyle Lowry is the only one that's out right now. Right, man, the books are fucking with us. The NBA is fucking with us. I don't know if I'll tell you right now, if 2 or 3 of these guys go from questionable to out, I might get on the 76ers bandwagon here and just take them. Not saying that Miami's going to completely blow them out, but I do believe Miami can win but not cover. I think that's also why you've got this line going from 8 to 7.5. Some big money or big bets have come in at the last minute or early morning for that sake to see this game not really getting out of hand. They've split the games on their head-to-head. Philly's won 2, Miami's won 2. These games have all been under for the exception of one, and it was their last game they played March 21st. I'm telling you right now that 209 doesn't scare me as well because when they go under, they go under. So I am looking at, I'm just going to wait for this injury report, Corey. I am looking at Philly, just depending on where this line goes. If you start having people in, right, then, that could change everything. You'll see the line jump right back up. But right now I am looking at Philly in this game and the under. Who do you like?
I'm all over Miami here, man. Gonna play the under. I do feel good about that. The only thing that scares me on the under is I think Philly's going to play a much faster pace of basketball without Embiid. They're not going to slow into those sets. You're going to see Maxey kind of trying to push the pace. But I think at the end of the day, you're just going to get a ISO ball with Harden.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to try to do Tobias Harris on the road. Everybody's going to play for Miami. They're just messing around with the injury report. Outside of Lowry, who's going to sit here,
Right.
The rest of those guys are going to play.
Right.
And Philly with no Embiid on the road against this Miami defense, I don't think they score, man. I don't think they do anything. Even all the other players on Philly benefit from Embiid being double teamed. Then the ball starts swinging, they get wide open shots. You know, Danny Green's man's not going to leave Danny Green. He's not going to be open. That man can't create his own shot. You're going to have Harden trying to do ISO ball. Tobias Harris is kind of in trouble here. You know, Maxey's the X factor because he's got the speed, but I don't see it happening here. I think Miami gets hot from 3 at home, and they handle this one pretty easy.
Yeah. I'm just curious on these injury reports, really. I'm really curious on it. I got to see where this goes. I'm telling you now, man, if 2 or 3 of those guys are out, it's going to be crazy. And I want to say PJ Tucker was ruled out. I'll have to check the official. I haven't checked the official on that. But yeah, that's a long list of players who could potentially be out, man. So right now, if you got a couple of these guys just going out, man, I might just jump on the Philly train here. But the under still doesn't scare me because the key word you said there is defense, right? If that Miami defense is that good, then you'll see Philly getting to like 80, 85, 89 points or so, right? So that works in the favor of that under. I can see why it's gone up a point, but yeah, I mean that number is still not too low enough for me. They went over on 210, but these unders at 214, they don't go over for whatever reason. So we'll see how it goes, man. Next game on the slate is Dallas at Phoenix. This line is right now Phoenix minus 5.5 with the total at 215, was 214 and opened up at 212.5. Matchup on this, man, you've got pretty much healthy squads on both sides. Healthy squads on both sides, man. And this one's kind of hard because it just seems like this should be a Phoenix steamroll, right? Phoenix has swept Dallas. They've swept them. The entire series, Phoenix wins. They've beat them with a point margin of 8.5, 8. They've been kind of close at 2 and 1.5. But this 5.5, this 6 number just seems right for Phoenix to get them. 2 different styles of ball here. I can see this being a gentleman sweep. I just don't think that Dallas has anything for Phoenix. And this matchup works in Phoenix's behalf, in my opinion. And that's why Phoenix has got him each and every time. 109 to 101, the last game they played in January. They played a couple of early games. 112 to 104. Phoenix got him then. 105 to 98. So it's another one of those things to where Dallas, man, is like barely crossing over the century mark, right? Barely getting there. So as far as the over-under on this game, the number is going up, which is kind of funny. But I do still like the under here, to be honest with you. I like the under here. So I do like Phoenix to cover this and the under as well, but I probably won't touch that total. One of these games has to go over. Right? I just don't know which one, but I do like Phoenix here. So I like Phoenix to get this done. It's one of those games to where it works in their behalf, really. You're going to have a strong game by Luka, obviously. But other than that, man, Phoenix is just too deep. They're too deep. They're just way too deep. And I don't think you have a scrappy guard play and the defense that you had out of New Orleans, to be honest with you. Herb Jones is a defensive juggernaut. Jose Alvarado was just a nuisance for CP3. And you're just not going to get that out of Dallas, in my opinion, at all. Who do you like here?
I'm confused at the analysis. Dallas is probably the best perimeter defensive team in the NBA second half of the season. I'm not that impressed with Phoenix right now. You just went 6 with New Orleans, and it took Chris Paul going 14 for 14 in a game 6 to win a close game against New Orleans here. I think this game matches up a little better for Dallas this time around than it did in the season. I think they start the game with Dwight Powell, and that's going to probably not work out for them. Ayton's going to go to work. But when they switch into that Maxi Kleber small ball, Phoenix is going to have decisions to make. Obviously, New Orleans completely just bailed on Steven Adams, which Phoenix isn't going to do here. But Ayton's going to have a hard time getting to that three-point line with Kleber. It's going to take him away from the basket. You got Brunson playing good ball right now. Luka's Luka. Chris Paul's obviously going to do his thing. D-Book's going to get off here. But I think Phoenix wins game 1 here. I'm not sure if they cover, but the unders should be a great spot here. Phoenix, as much as they get out and run when they have the opportunity, they're completely content with running a half-court game. Dallas, same thing. Luka likes to slowly walk up the court every possession. So I see this one going under easy. I think Phoenix wins game 1, but I think this one's a little closer. So I think I'm not touching the spread here, but this game's going under.
I tell you right now, man, what I had seen in the New Orleans defense, not as a whole, but what Herb Jones and what Jose Alvarado did to play Chris Paul the way they did, I personally think they played better defense than what you're going to see out of the guard play from Dallas. I'm sorry. Jalen Brunson is not going to play the same type of defense that Jose was trying to play on Chris Paul. It's like they had a vendetta, bro. It's like they played with house money, and they were doing everything they could do to make sure that they specifically got at Chris Paul. Now, they had the ability to do this because you missed D-Book on the first 2 games, right? First few games at that. You're not going to tell me that Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie, Sterling Brown, Reggie Bullock possibly is going to have that same tenacity. I would argue right now that Herb Jones is better than all those players I just said defensively.
Yeah, one person, yeah. And Jose Alvarado was playing like 18, 20 minutes.
And they rattled Chris Paul. I mean, they pressed him so hard. They pressed him and pressured him. Had this man on his hands on knees, man, at halftime. Just gassed, bro. Just gassed. So that's why I say defensively, I don't know if you're going to get that same effort, that same tenacity. Like, these guys had an issue with Chris Paul. Personal. It was not business, it was personal. And so that's why I have that analysis here. Is Dallas a better team than Memphis or New Orleans? Goddamn right. Yeah. But how I saw them play Chris Paul, man, I don't think Chris Paul is going to have that same kind of pressure on him. There is going to be defense played, obviously. They're going to have to play Chris Paul. But I just saw something different in them 2 boys and how they played. And maybe that's something that Chris Paul is going to learn coming into the second round here. But man, what I had seen, man, was absolutely bananas. Absolutely.
But I mean, yeah, they had him so rattled. He went 14 for 14.
His last game,
didn't miss a shot. Closed out game.
Well, but
30-something point career high, playoff high
because of the game prior.
Okay, we're talking about singular gaming here, though. But when it mattered, closeout, the dude put up a career high in points, 14 for 14 from the floor.
You're right.
And they still barely win that game.
You're right.
So you got to figure, if Chris Paul misses 1 shot, they might not win that game. That's the position they put themselves in.
I'm telling you right now. And because of that, I think that Phoenix can get Dallas. I don't know.
I think they win. I agree. But the fact that, they had him rattled in that, game 5. But all that aggressive hoorah defense didn't do jack shit in game 6. Man went 14 for 14
You're right.
broke records in your
You're right.
face, broke Jose Alvarado's face in the process.
Chipped his tooth, man. Yeah.
Yeah, look, man, I mean, it's cool to be overly aggressive, but when you play against a ball handler as good as Chris Paul, it kind of just bites you, man.
Yeah.
All that stuff's for show. It's for the fans. You're pumped up. You know, people are like, damn, this guy's getting in his ass.
Yeah.
No, he's not. The man is 14 for 14 doing whatever he wants.
Yeah, man. I think he went 14 for 14 is because how they played his ass the game prior.
I do think though, like I think Chris Paul goes back to this facilitator role here with D-Book healthy.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to score 30 every game. That's not his shit. I mean, he will if need be, but I do think he tries to go back into that facilitator role, get Bridges rolling, get D-Book rolling here, Cam Johnson. But I am really interested, though, the Ayton situation here on the small ball lineup for Dallas is going to be interesting.
Yeah. Well, you can't play JaVale, right?
You can't play either of them. That's the thing. So do you match them with small ball, which might be the right move, or do you try to roll with Ayton and see how you guys hold up? But Dallas is definitely going to push the issue with Kleber in the corner three, or setting that high pick and roll with him. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a good game though. But if you're betting this game, bet under.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. All right, let's get into our leans for today.
Yo, I woke up, I'm not dead. Smoked up, got out of bed. Gotta see the green, otherwise I see a lot of red. Watching what I say around some of y'all.
Yeah, man, my lean is definitely now. I'm waiting on this one. Lean on this is definitely going to be. It's kind of crazy that I say it. It's really crazy that I say it. But I'm going to look at Philly here. That is my lean. Philly at the plus 7.5. But I'm going to wait on the injury reports here. I know that line's going to shift around a lot. But if everybody is playing for Miami, then you have to take Miami. So Philly and the under are the two plays that I'm looking at. But I will wait because my mind can definitely change after this injury report. And for the Dallas game, man, Phoenix. I'm looking at Phoenix here. Minus 5.5. I think they can get it done easily. What's your leans?
I got a lean on Miami right here. I do think I'm going to wait for the injury report, but I do think everybody ends up playing in that game. I'm got a lean on the under 209 as well. Mm-hmm. And then I'm, in the second game, I'm just leaning real heavy lean on the under 215. I just think that's going to be a good spot. I'm also waiting to see in that first game what the Paul Reed points prop is going to be set at, because if they have him real low, filling in big minutes for Embiid, I think that guy's going to be active on the glass. He should, easily cruise to 10, 12 points here.
What is Harden's threes? Is it at 3.5?
Let's take a look. I got him at he's minus 130 for 3.
Yeah.
So
okay, makes sense. All right, man. And let's get into our official picks.
Hey, yo, I woke up, I'm not dead. Smoked up, got out of bed. Gotta see the green, otherwise I see a lot of red. Watching what I say around some of y'all.
I want to see where this number was before all the injury news. And that's total. Yeah. See, it's gotten as high as 209.5, and it's kind of just toggle between 208, 208.5. Man, I almost feel like even with everybody playing, I want to make a move on that under game right now. No official picks for me right now, but I think I'm going to move at least on the under here, regardless of who plays. I'm going to make a move on the under. What's your official picks?
Yeah, I don't have anything yet. My strongest lean is that Phoenix game under. Might even look at the first half under.
That's a good spot to be at.
I do think it might be a competitive game, so we might get a little more scoring in the second half. So maybe the first half under is a good look. I do really want to see the Philly pace without Embiid and kind of what they're going to do, but I just don't know if they got enough weapons So the under there is a good look too, man. I like both unders today.
Both unders. One of them's got to go. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. All right, man. That has been Getting in the Green with Perfect Strangers. We've got ball on tomorrow, game 2s. We'll see which series of the 4 in this second round is going to be the most exciting. Right now, my money is still on Memphis. I love the Memphis-Minnesota round 1 series. We'll see what Golden State comes back and does in game 2. Right now, it looks like Boston doesn't have a prayer the way they played yesterday. And we'll see which teams really, really mess up and look as bad as Boston on today. I'm thinking it's probably going to be either Philly or Dallas. The favorites do come out on top here. So we'll see. We'll see. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. You can also follow us on the Twitter machine as we post our picks there. We're pretty active on there as well. And until next time, man, we will see you, which is most likely tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.